So the Maid Show is officially in the books, but after reviewing the footage, I found some interesting trends. Small bike shows like Maid is a good place to spot leading edge trends that the other bike brands won't follow just yet. These are the trends that I found interesting for our particular niche. So with all that said, let's get into it. The first interesting trend is the rediscovery, reappreciation for aluminum as a material to build bikes with. At the Maid Show, there were several bike brands that were showcasing an aluminum all-road / gravel bike. There's this prototype from Velo Orange. There was also this Ultra Romance / Crust aluminum gravel bike. And there was that Totally Bananas bike from Heavy Bikes. Another honorable mention, although I didn't capture footage of it at the show, Sean from It's Not a Bike Shop brought his Beach Club aluminum bike. So what gives? Why is aluminum being rediscovered? First off, it's a pretty compelling performance material, if you will. Lighter than steel, not as expensive as carbon. So what this means is that we'll see these bikes at more accessible price points. There's better margins for the brands promoting them, and it's something kind of newish and different. For those that have been turned off to aluminum in the past, I seriously reconsider. With the newfound appreciation for wider tires, it really takes away some of the material differences between steel and tie and carbon. You're feeling most of the time the tire. So in some ways, it only makes sense that we're revisiting a lighter weight alloy that's cheaper to manufacture to bring the all-road bike to the people. Another interesting trend is baskets. You know, go figure, or let's say practicality. I was surprised by the number of people that were stoked on basket bikes or had products that worked well specifically with baskets. Ira Ryan was a big fan of the basket bike. Old Man Mountain was showcasing their aluminum basket. Rat King Frames was highlighting a mini Portour rack that had specific mounts for wire baskets, which I thought was pretty cool. Cameron from Ren Sports was showcasing their rack that was designed around their inverted suspension forks, and he specifically mentioned, the ability of putting a basket or a milk crate. So baskets and practicality and just the ability to carry stuff, definitely on trend at the Maid Show. Another interesting small, pun intended, trend is mini velos. Quite a few at the Maid Show. There was of course the Neutrino from Velo Orange. Joseph Ahern was highlighting a mini velo. Sean Studios had a trail oriented mini velo. Rodriguez Bikes had a breakaway mini velo. And of course Bike Friday was there, and all their bikes are, I guess, technically mini velos. You guys know I reviewed the Cute or Coyote itty bitty on the channel. So mini velos, a trend for 2024 and beyond. We'll see. And speaking of trends, one trend that definitely won't go away is having a good bike fit. And that's why I'm stoked that MyVeloFit is the sponsor of today's video. MyVeloFit lets you get a great bike fit from the comfort of your own home. All you need is your bike, a trainer, and your phone. You film yourself and MyVeloFit does the rest. It uses motion capture technology and helps make suggestions to get a dialed fit. So whether you're racing or party pacing, you can fit yourself at home on multiple bikes at your own leisure. To get a discount on MyVeloFit, use the discount code and the link below. Another trend I heard from multiple people was the return of the road bike. It's going to look a little bit different from the super aggressive, super narrow tire road bike of yore. But a lot of people like Tony from Breadwinner and even Igor from Velo Orange mentioned that there was kind of a renewed interest in the road bike. Maybe it's because most people found themselves, riding their gravel bikes primarily on pavement. I think one thing that is different from this iteration of the road bike is the allowances for bigger meets. So in some ways, it's like, the industry went crazy with gravel bikes having massive tire clearance, and now we're seeing a slight retraction into more normal sizes. So road bikes with clearances for at least 35, maybe even 38. A big improvement from typical road bikes, which can only fit like a 25, 26 millimeter tire. Are people tired of being vibrated to death on washboard? Is road the new gravel? We shall see. Another interesting trend I saw from multiple builders was the use of 3D printing. A big use for 3D printing was creating the yoke, people using 3D printing to navigate around fitting in a wider tire in tight spaces. Saw that with significant other cycles who also use 3D printing in working out the dropouts. Using it to create some kind of yoke seemed to be the most popular use. Of course, the folks at Heavy Bike use 3D printed sand to create a mold, which they then pressurized some hot molten aluminum to make their bikes. Tyler from Bitchin' Bikes had a pretty interesting use for 3D printing, using it to create the corners of his custom tie handlebars, as well as some other parts on his bike. The last trend I was stoked to see is the rise of mini racks and stem racks and whatever you want to call it. Stephen Wood was there showing off his latest iteration of this guy. This isn't the latest iteration, by the way. This is the older iteration. But basically, he started working with Paragon to create this collar, make it a little bit slimmer and a little bit more production friendly. The folks over at Good Day Bike had this really cool looking purple stem cradle, which adds support to bike packing sausage bags. And of course, one of my favorite executions was the cradle rack from Rat King Frames. Super interesting in that it's modular, it's adjustable. You can run it on the front or on a seat post if you're using a shim. I'm hoping to get one of those really soon to test out for the channel because I think that's a cool tech that I want to see further developed. If you found this video entertaining or useful, hit that like button. Definitely helps out the channel. Or better yet, visit the sponsor for today's video, my VeloFit, and fit yourself on your bike today from the comfort of your own living room. As always, everybody, keep the supple side down.